welcome you to our webinar, How and Why to Apply to the 2013 Small Business Awards. Webinar should take about 30 minutes or so. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the awards, but before I do, I'd just like to let you know that on your control panel for the webinar, you'll see a chat box. In there, you can ask any question that you'd like, and we'll do our best to try to address it at the end of the webinar. We'd like to start off by telling you a little bit about the awards. First, why it was created. Well, if you think about the New York Enterprise Report, for those of you who are readers, the New York Enterprise Report is been around now for 10 years, providing the business owners in the New York area with ideas and solutions on how to grow their business. And a lot of those ideas and solutions are, of course, are coming from business owners themselves, and they're really best practices. So the Small Business Awards was created so that we can recognize companies who have created these best practices in a variety of different areas, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes. And this is now the 8th year of the Small Business Awards. For those of you who've been involved, you know what a terrific event it is in the program, and we'll get into those details in just about a minute or two. There's several ways that you can get involved with the Small Business Awards. My guess is that most of you who are on this webinar are interested in applying for an award, which is a great opportunity to really distinguish your company by highlighting the best practices that you've developed and the results that you've gotten from them. Of course, attending the event is a fantastic opportunity not only for finalists for the awards, but for anybody who really wants to network with who's who of the New York City area business community. And then, of course, year after year, we usually get between a dozen and 2 dozen sponsors for the awards, which is a great opportunity to get visibility, as well as a great opportunity to get visibility at the event and with our media properties. So 3 great reasons to get involved with the Small Business Awards. We're going to really focus for the most part on applying for the awards in this webinar. So the next question is, why apply? Well, there's a number of reasons. Number one, all the winners get profiled in the New York Enterprise Report magazine, as well as on our website at nyreport.com. That's exposure to 100,000 business owners and executives. Really can't beat that. Next is the credibility that you get among your peers within your industry, in the business community in general. It's a prestigious award, again, now in its 8th year. In addition, you'll see towards the bottom what we've heard from previous winners, even previous finalists, that getting the award or being named a finalist has given the employees of the company a great sense of accomplishment and pride. And then, of course, being honored and receiving that recognition in the room for the awards is really a second-to-none experience. And it is just another opportunity to affirm your company as a leader in the industry. I'm now going to turn over the webinar to Christy Galvani, EVP from HJMT, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the application process. Christy?
Thanks, Rob. Before I go ahead and jump into some more details, I did want to go ahead and mention there are a few people that have joined the call. We do have the control panel, and we will be accepting questions, so we encourage all of you to type your questions into the control panel, and we will be answering them at the end of the webinar. We do have 30 minutes allocated for this webinar, and promise to get you done before then. I did also want to go ahead and introduce myself. Thanks, Rob. I'm the Executive Vice President of HJMT. We're a public relations event planning agency, and we've actually been really honored to work with the New York Enterprise Report on the event since its inception 8 years ago. So we really are here to help you throughout the whole entire process. Please use this as a resource. We want to make sure that you put your best foot forward when applying for the event. So that's why we wanted to hold this webinar again. One, to tell you the benefits of applying, but really mostly to help you with your applications and give you all the information that you may need. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about the 2 different categories that we have in our awards. The first one is a best practice category, and I will say that this is one of the questions we get most often when it comes to the awards each year, is what exactly is a best practice? And I do have a definition up there. I don't need to read it. You guys can take a look at it. But I think what's most important about a best practice is to keep in mind that it's something that you do for your company to help grow your own company. For example, a lot of times we get people submit an application for a best practice of something that they created for a client. And unfortunately, that doesn't fit the criteria. The criteria of a best practice is a program or a technique or a process that you implemented for your own company to help your company grow in terms of revenue, long-term value, etc. So within the best practice category, we have 5 different awards. And I'm going to just read a short description of each award. And I will say that we do have really great information on the web, nyreport.com/awards. There's detailed descriptions of each award, and there's examples of each award, which I find to be very helpful in case you're not sure whether or not it's a best practice or whether or not which category it fits in. Look at the examples, and I think that helps make it a little bit clearer. So customer service is the first one. Nominees will be judged on their customer service techniques and implementations that resulted in an overall increase of client satisfaction, leading to higher client retention, referrals, and/or profits. Green business. Nominees will be judged on their green business initiatives and implementations for their own company that have resulted in a positive impact on the environment as well as the company's profits. Leadership. Nominees will be judged on the processes they have implemented to identify, attract, retain, and/or motivate a workforce that establishes a culture of empowerment. Nominees inspire an ownership mentality among employees and provides the company with a competitive edge. Sales and marketing. Nominees will be judged on the uniqueness, creativity, and results of a marketing and/or sales program that has resulted in a significant increase in the company's profits revenue. And lastly, technology. Nominees will be judged on their use of one or more technologies that have made a major impact on the company's ability to generate profits and create a competitive advantage. Just a couple of really quick examples that I wanted to to share with you guys, and I think to help clarify the best practice. One I wanted to share with you was technology. So here's an example of an acceptable technology best practice. Implemented a business intelligence and customer relationship management, a CRM system, that resulted in an increase in leads to deals ratio and an increase in sales. So a company used technology to create a customer relationship management system that helped that company increase their sales. So I think that's just a really good example to share with you guys that shows how they're using a best practice, something that they created to help grow their own company. All right, next up, the next category is our Best of the Year categories. And within this category, we have 3 separate awards. Our first one is the International Operations Program of the Year, and that's for a company who has successfully used international operations to increase sales profit. The second award is a Nonprofit Program of the Year. That's a nonprofit that demonstrates innovation and continues to create programs and activities to help fulfill their mission. And third is the Supplier Diversity Program of the Year. That's a company that can demonstrate successful use of their Minority Women-Owned Business certification. And again, we have examples of our Best of the Year categories on our website, nyreport.com/awards. Again, if you have any questions about any of the categories, feel free to put them in your chat box and we'll address them towards the end of the webinar. Next thing up, we're going to talk a little bit about eligibility. So there's a few things to consider. You must be headquartered in the New York City metro area. You must have more than 1 and no more than 500 employees. Must be subscriber of the New York Enterprise Report. Your company must be in business for at least 2 years as of December 31st, 2012. Your company can be nominated by anyone, including an owner or company employee. We get this question a lot as well. Do I have to be, nominated? Actually, we have small businesses apply for themselves, but a lot of times we do have a publicist or maybe a business advisor apply on that company's behalf, and that's, fine as well. And then, we do, of course, always ask our communities to help spread the word. So someone may suggest that you apply, and that's another great opportunity. And also, any past winners of a Best Practice and Best of the Year awards, they may not apply in the category in which they won. They can, apply for different categories, but not the one that they were already a winner in. Next up is judging and criteria. Awards will be presented to companies that shown the ability to use their best practice and or implemented programs to generate competitive advantage, revenue, profits, and long-term value. I think the most important thing here is results driven. Make sure when you fill out your application that you take the time, think about the results that you have achieved, and demonstrate them. When our judging panel, when they review the applications, they're really looking at the results. It's very important that you're able to demonstrate how your business has grown from your best practice, or how you, have implemented one of the best of the year categories. There is a limit of 2 category entries per applicant. You can apply for up to 2, and you will only be able to be a finalist in 1 category. Your highest score entry will be considered, and the other one will be disqualified. I did also want to note that after you submit your application, we have a review panel that will look closely at each application to review all eligibility, and you may be contacted at that time with any questions or suggestions that our review panel has. And after the final deadline, a panel of industry experts in each field will go ahead and judge the actual applications, and then our finalists are determined based on a scoring system. All right, so next up, you're ready to apply. It's actually, I believe we've made it a really fairly simple process for you guys. You can visit the smallbizawards.com, which you can also get to direct from our website, which I've been mentioning, nyreport.com/awards. You could go ahead, you create a login and a password, and what's great about that is that you can go ahead and save your application and work on it later. Like I said, you really do need to demonstrate results, and you need to use good examples and give good details. So it's not the kind of application that you could throw together in a quick 5 minutes, and we all know we may sit down and say, okay, I have an hour to work on this, and 5 minutes, after you start, you get distracted or called to do something else. So you can go ahead and save it and come back to it at a later date, which many people find to be very helpful. All of the criteria, the eligibility is right on that website. You go ahead, you fill out your information, you put in all your contact information, you pick your category, you fill out all the questions, and again, like I said, you could save it and come back to it and then go ahead and submit. Again, I've mentioned this many times, but nyreport.com/awards, great place for lots of information on the application process. As we get closer to the event, there'll be information on purchasing tickets, and there's also information on our different sponsorship opportunities. Also note the deadlines here. New for this year, we do have 2 deadlines. We have an early fee deadline of $100, which is May 15th, and our final fee deadline of $150, which is June 28th. So those are just 2 things to keep in mind, and you can save a few dollars if you go ahead and get in for our early deadline, which is, believe it or not, approaching now in just a couple more weeks. Okay, a few tips. And actually, before I go ahead, I do have one question here that I do want to address, because I didn't mean to mention this in the beginning. Will a copy of the presentation be sent to viewers? Yes, everyone who signed up for today's webinar will get, a follow-up email with a copy of the presentation and the actual webinar.
Yeah, we'll actually have a video copy of the webinar,
yes,
to be able to listen to it and share it with other people in your office.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, a few tips that I wanted to share with you. Let's see, the first one here. Yes, again, the questions are based off of your best practices, your implemented programs, How did you generate, those competitive advantages, the profits, the long-term value? When you go in, what's the times I recommend people, they call me up and they say, how do I go about this? I say, go ahead, sign up, you create your username, your password, fill out all your information as an applicant, go ahead, select your category, print the questions out. It's going to show you all the questions, print them out, take them with you, think it over, and then come back when you're ready, because you do really want to think about the different programs that you've done and what the results were and the different stories that you could share and examples. It's very important, and it's really what the judges look at. The background of the company is also important. So before you go and sit down to do this, make sure you have the background of the company and the description of the best practice in the program and the results again. And I don't know, I keep mentioning it, but it really is important. The quantifiable results definitely weighs heavily on the judge's decision. I'm going to have my contact information at the end of this presentation. And again, when I receive your follow-up, my contact information will be there. If you have a question that you don't think of during today's webinar, feel free to call me, email me anytime. I'm here to help you guys out, to help you put your best foot forward and to make your application the best it can be. Wanted to share with you, a few of our past winners. As Rob said, this is our 8th year doing the awards. We have some really credible companies, small businesses that have, been a winner. I mean, and these are just our winners, our finalists. It's really a fantastic list. But we'd love to add, your names to this list. So I hope that you do decide to apply. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Also, we just put in here a few testimonials. I think the most important things, you guys can kind of read these as I talk, but I think the most important things that, our winners said here was solidify our reputation as a technology leader. I mean, anything that can do that, that can help you, get out there and be an expert within your industry is just a terrific promotional marketing opportunity. And then, the second one, something to point out here is the awards helped our business stand out among competitors. I mean, that's constant challenge of, all of us trying to get out there and make ourselves different than our competitors. So it's great to hear that our awards are helping companies achieve their marketing goals. And that's something else I also want to mention. Yes, we're an event planning firm, but we're also a marketing agency. So we really, do work with you guys to help you market this opportunity as well. So we give you different marketing tools that you can use to, get out there and announce that you're a finalist. And if you happen to become a winner, we have different marketing tools for that, such as press releases and logos and sample social media status updates, different, copy that you can use for email blasts. So we really help you to leverage, you being a finalist or a winner in the awards. All right, so that brings us to my last slide. I do have a few questions. But before I get there, I want to point out that this is actually really exciting. We have a new venue and a new format for this year's awards, and I'm super excited about it. The event's going to be on October 9th. This year's event's going to be at the New York Hilton. It's a beautiful venue. It's going to be great. And we have a new format that's really going to focus on the awards this year. We're going to have an awards presentation followed by a really nice networking event. So I'm really excited about that, and I think it's going to give our finalists some extra exposure and attention, which will be great. Okay, a few questions I have here. Typically, how many applicants do you get per category? It really does depend. I would say our most popular categories get, about 24 plus applicants for the category. And I know our sales and marketing, that always seems to be one of the most popular ones. That's gotten upwards of 30, 40 applicants. So it really depends. Some of them may get more like 5 applicants. And like I said, the finalist is determined on a scoring system. So as long as your application receives a certain score, you become a finalist is how we work it. Another question here, how many companies apply and who are the judges? So very similar question. We usually get anywhere, you know, between, I would say, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but at least, you know, 50 to 75 applications every year. And the judges are really just a panel of industry experts. We don't announce the actual judges until the night of the event, but they're, you know, different leaders within each respective industry.
That's about right. I mean, it varies year to year, and like you said, it varies per by application. I mean, the bottom line, I think, for anybody on the webinar is that if you feel like you have a good best practice, it's worth it. You know, the important thing is to really document the results. And what the other feedback I've heard over the years from people who've applied is that just the exercise of kind of going through the application process has really made them think about their best practices, sometimes even improving them, and communicating them throughout the company. So there's even other benefits for applying in addition to the chances of being named a finalist or winner.
Great. Another question here is, when are finalists announced? Our finalists are scheduled to be announced in August this year, and I will just point out too that our winners are announced the night of the event on October 9th. We don't announce our winners until the event. Another question here that I think is good and would be helpful for everyone is, how much do tickets to the event cost? Tickets are $250, but I should also note that we do offer special packages that include tickets and journal ads and different sponsorship benefits for our finalists. Also along the lines of registration, I have a question here, what if I can't attend? We do encourage all of our applicants and our finalists to attend the event. However, it's not required to win. We do have, you know, a really legit judging process with a great judging panel, and like I said, it's all based on a scoring system. So your attendance, while we hope you can make it, does not, you know, relate to the outcome of whether or not you're a finalist or winner. And that's about all I have here. So if you do have any last-minute questions, please go ahead and, you know, quickly type them into your chat box. Rob, do you have anything else to add?
Nothing else to add. I think you covered everything, Christy, and I look forward to hearing about all the applications that are coming in, and hopefully seeing a lot of you at the awards in October.
Great. And again, my contact information is right there. So if you think of anything after, you know, today's webinar, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're, you know, still on the fence about whether or not this is the right fit for you and you want to kind of talk it over, I'm here as well. So I look forward to working with each of you, and talk to you soon.
This will conclude our webinar. Thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon.